So when I switched off the thing is not connecting to the Wi-Fi. Which one shall I connect to? Which one shall I connect to, by the way? The internet.
You can connect it to the masjid.
No Wi-Fi.
5G.
Huh?
So we don't know the password.
Which one? 2G or 5G?
2.
2G. No, the DGGs I haven't got the. Maybe the guest one. Is it the guest one?
No, it's not a guest one.
So can you just, because I don't have the internet, it looks like a password. He needs a password. Ya Allah. I've lost my Zoom now because of disconnected myself.
Why do you set it like every week? You don't have to go through this step. Does it change every week?
No. It's just sometimes the computer disconnects.
Next once, it should be connected automatically. Like every week.
It should.
Sorry, I have to go back to my internet now.
Might be on your settings, you know, to connect to portals.
Okay. It's asking me for a password.
You don't know where to do. Who knows it? Abdulaziz, anyone?
Abdulaziz might know.
Yeah, get through to him.
But I've got one in my phone, which is the new one.
I lost my connection.
Oh, no. It says it's connected though here.
That's mine, because I connected it just here. Hang on. Which one?
That's your phone, isn't it?
No, that's which one is one?
We want to go for the strongest and the fastest, which is this one.
Ahlan, Allah Chan.
This is our
I didn't know about this.
yeah, this is our new one. We don't want no one really connected to this, so it should never change after this. I've done this.
Khair, inshallah.
بعتها في الموتورات هي حالنا.
Bismillah.
Unable to connect. Hold on.
So the top, I think. Connected.
This is going to try it.
It says connected. Okay, guys. The one at the back, let's just join in, inshallah. طيب.
Recording in progress.
Bismillah. There's nothing, ikhwani. Allah al-musta'an. Ikhwani, we have to get ready, and everything's to be started, tested and everything. Nothing just like that.
Another one.
Should be a bit more organized.
Yeah. Or just this is little thickened things, yani.
It has to be ready.
Yani, you can't just. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه مولا. I do apologize for brothers who are waiting on the internet. I'm supposed to start 15 minutes before this, but actually just the delay is out of hands. Allah musta'an. And I thought I did it very well today in terms of transport wise. Whatever I saved in the transport, I lost it here in the connections. Tonight is the 22nd night of the Rabi' al-Thani, 1444. It's the 15th of November 2022. And we are on the 9th commandment of the Prophet ﷺ. And I've chosen to talk about the dua after the tashahhud. Prophet ﷺ, he said in Sahih Imam Muslim, it is narrated that Abu Hurairah said that the Prophet of Allah, he said, إِذَا تَشَهَّدَ أَحَدُكُمْ, if one of you is to make tashahhud, let him فَلْيَسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ, seek refuge in Allah, min arba, from four things. قال, he said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabi jahannam. O Lord, I seek refuge in you from the punishment of hellfire. وَمِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ, and from the punishment of the grave. وَمِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا وَالْمَمَاتِ, and from the trials of the life and death. وَمِنْ شَرِّ فِتْنَةِ الْمَسِيحِ الدَّجَّالِ, and from the evil of the trial of the false Masih, Masih al-Dajjal, the lying Masih. So the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا تَشَهَّدَ أَحَدُكُمْ, if one of you is to recite the tashahhud. The tashahhud contains two things. التحيات and الصلاة الإبراهيمية. إذا تشهد أحدكم, so it contains two things. التحيات and الصلاة الإبراهيمية. التحيات, the best one you could choose. التحيات لله والصلوات الطيبات السلام على النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. This is the best and full one, and I said the best because it says السلام على النبي, whereas the other one says السلام عليك أيها النبي. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and Aisha, they have said this was at the time when the Prophet of Allah was alive, and the Prophet of Allah, when he died, we started to say Salamu ala nabi, Salamu ala nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Then after that you pass salutation upon the Prophet ﷺ, which we call it a Salah Ibrahimiyya. There's a plenty of one to choose. One of them that I will say myself, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. But do not mix in between those tashahhuds or salah al-Ibrahimiyya from the Prophet of Allah. So, there is another one which says as follows. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد. I didn't say اللهم. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم جزاك الله في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. This one, do not say اللهم بارك at the middle. So I'll repeat it again with full. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي. I'm gonna add now. وعلى آل محمد كما صليت, not على إبراهيم now, على آل إبراهيم. وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. So you could choose now one of those salah. Now he said, if one of you is to make tashahhud, then let him seek refuge from four. Though seek refuge, what does that mean? Isti'adha. Isti'adha means to seek shelter, seek refuge, to seek protection, to seek strength. So basically you are seeking the strength and the protection and the shelter from the Almighty against what you are fearing, against what you dread, against what you fear, against what you think is going to harm you. So you're seeking refuge in Allah. This isti'adha will not be fulfilled except by two things. Number one, you know the Lord of yours whom you're seeking shelter from him. And number two is that you know yourself. What does that mean? So acknowledging my Lord that he is the powerful, and acknowledging myself that I am the weak. Acknowledging my Lord is the one who's got the ability, and acknowledging that myself has got no capability. Acknowledging my Lord to be the one who's got triumph and honor, and acknowledging that myself I got humility. acknowledging my Lord that He is complete, and acknowledging that myself is to be incomplete. Once I know this, then the isti'adah is to be achieved. If I knew this, if I have believed in this, then I know what is isti'adah, because the isti'adah is ibadah. It includes the rububiyyah, which is acknowledging your Lord, and al-ubudiyyah, by knowing yourself. So it includes the meanings of the rububiyyah, lordship, and includes, once you acknowledge yourself with being incapable and weak, then you acknowledge as well the ubudiyyah, that there is none worthy is worship except for Allah Azza wa Jal. So he who seeks refuge in Allah, Allah will help him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He spoke to us and told us about the isti'adah of the prophets and about the righteous people. Let's have some examples. Nuh alayhi salam. Allah spoke about Nuh in Surah Hud, where he said, قال ربي. He said, O Lord, inni a'udhu bika. O Lord, I seek refuge. Inni a'udhu bika. That means I seek shelter. I seek power. And as'aluka ma laysa, and as'alaka ma laysa li bihi ilm. To ask you something which I have no knowledge of. Straight away, when he said this and he sought refuge in Allah, that is, when he told him, Inni a'idhuka an takuna min al-jahilin, I give you an admonishing, O Nuh, that you are from the ignorant, when he asked Allah Azza wa Jal to save his son. So he said, Innahu laysa min ahlik, innahu amalun ghayru salih. He's not from your family, and whatever you've done, which is to seek for him dua, is not good. So here, Nuh alayhi salam apologized by seeking refuge. I see, قال ربي إني أعوذ بك أن أسألك ما ليس لي به علم. God forbid, seek refuge in you to ask you something which I don't know about, which I have no knowledge of. Allah gave him straight away two blessings. Blessings of the barakat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and peace. Allah He said, قِيلَ يَا نُوحْ اهْبِطَ بِسَلَامٍ. Said to Nuh, descend down in peace. قال منا وبركات عليك, and also from me you're going to have blessing. So قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى من قبلك أو على ممن معك. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He says to Nuh alayhi salam, who said to him, descend from your ship, from your ark, with peace and also barakah. Allah will put your barakah in the area that you have landed in. Yusuf alayhi salam, when he sought refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal against what this woman, the wife of Al-Aziz, she plotted against. So she tried to seduce him. So what did he say? قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. God forbid. إِنَّهُ رَبِّي أَحْسَنَ مَثْوَايَ. He's my Lord. And He has given me the best of consequences, the best of results. A'udhu billah, how can I go ahead and fulfill your wish? When she seduced him, she wants him to do what the husband do to his wife. So Allah Azza wa Jal, again, He gave him two characteristics, two barakah. Number one, he had taken the plot and the filth away from him. And also, at the same time, He took away the fahsha, the obscenity. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ وَالْفَحْشَاءَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الصَّالِحِينَ. So Allah He said that this is the way, because of we have asked the refuge, we have now given him the shelter, the refuge against falling into bad. From the bad, that means the punishment and all of that, and also the obscenity that she's trying, which is the obscenity, the filth, which is the fornication, wal iyadu billah. And it was when it was said to him regarding his brother, when he plotted, if you remember Yusuf I started to get his brother, and he put the Suwa' al-Malik, the Malik, the king crown in his brother's stuff, and then they said to go, let's go and search, and then the brothers of his, they've ruled that the one who you find that in his stuff, that means khalas, he's the one which is bad, you could take him. So he plotted for that, Yusuf in order to take his brother. So when they found it in his brothers, so they said, khalas, we will take him. Now the brothers realized that they've given a sort of a contract, an agreement with their father. They're going to bring him back because they already lost Yusuf, and he the father Yaqub did not give them the little brother of Yusuf alayhi salam until حتى أتوه موثقهم من الله. They gave him the covenant from Allah. خلاص, we will bring him back. So they started to plead with Yusuf alayhi salam. They said, إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا فخذ أحدا مكانه إنا نراك من المحسنين. Verily, he's got a father who is too old, so take somebody instead, one of us, not him. For verily we find you that you are a good man. What did he say? قال معاذ الله. Seek refuge in Allah. أن نأخذ قال إلا من وجدنا متاعنا عنده. We only take the one whom we found our stuff, the stolen crown of the king, with him. Okay, this is the one who's got the crown, the stock, the suwa' with him is the one we'll take him. So when he sought refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had honored him with what? When he sought refuge, that he brought all his family to him. All of them. قال ورفع أبويه على العرش وخروا له سجدا. And he had put his father and mother on top of the throne of his which he's sitting, and all of them they prostrated to him. The prostration at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam out of respect was allowed, not anymore at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Musa, another example, when he commanded his people to slaughter the cow. You know the story of the cow, what show us the color and all of this. So when he asked them for the cow because they want to bring somebody alive after his death, they said to him, قالوا أتتخذنا هزوا. Are you taking the mick out of us? What did he say? قال إني أعوذ بالله أن أكون من الجاهلين. He said, I seek refuge in Allah that I will be from the ignorant. How can I seek refuge in Allah? Straight away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him two things. Number one, to give life to the dead. And number two is to remove the accusation that is being thrown at him. So, فَقُلْنَا ضْرِبُوهُ بِبَعْضِهَا كَذَلِكَ يُحْيِي اللَّهُ الْمَوْتَى. Allah, this is how the way He gives the life to the dead. قَالُوا وَيُرِيكُمْ آيَاتِهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. And He will show you His signs so that you could pay heed, so you have common sense. The mother of Maryam, when she had got pregnant, because she had dedicated whatever she's got to the service of the temple, dedicated to Allah. But she wanted what? A male. But Allah given her what? Female instead of a male. So what did she say? وَإِنِّي سَمَّيْتُهَا مَرْيَمْ. I've really given her the name Maryam. وَإِنِّي أُعِيذُهَا بِكَ وَذُرِّيَّتَهَا مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. So I seek refuge for her on her behalf, and also her springs from the shaitan. And that's why the shaitan couldn't poke Isa alayhi salam as soon as he was born. He couldn't poke Maryam when she was born as well from her mother. These two, they've been having a screen, a barrier between the poking of the shaitan and them. And every other person apart from them, they were poked. It's a reminder. Shaitan, I'm here. Shaitan will poke him as soon as he's born. Except for Maryam and her son. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the mother of Maryam sought refuge in Allah, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا وَكَفَّلَهَا زَكَرِيَّا. Three things He gave her. Allah accepted that from good. And He raised her in good. And He made her to be in the custody of Zakaria. Also when Jibreel alayhi salam came to Maryam, the mother of Isa alayhi salam, when she was pregnant, in order to tell her about who? The birth. She's giving birth now to Isa alayhi salam. So what did she say? قالت إني أعوذ بالرحمن منك إن كنت تقيا. Surah Maryam. I seek refuge in Allah, from you, because she suddenly came there and there's nobody there. He just came. That if you are a righteous man, I seek refuge in Allah from you. That means you approach me in wrong way. So what did she been granted? A son from male intervention. Okay, and also this son, he had exonerated her from what? Being fornicator. He's the one was the proof. The family, the tribe of hers, they asked her, how can you bring something like this? And your mother, she was not a harlot. وَمَا كَانَ أَبُوكِ امْرَأَ سَوٍ وَمَا كَانَتْ أُمُّكِ بَغِيًّا. Your mother, you were not a harlot. Father was not. That means that the fornication runs in the family usually, and your family is not fornicators. So what did she do? فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ. That's what she said. She just pointed to him. Now, this son straight away, قال إني عبد الله. أتاني الله الكتاب. So, I am the slave of Allah. Exonerated her. First commandment in this hadith is that when he said the Prophet, if one of you to seek tashahhud, as-salah al-Ibrahimiyya, as-tahiyyatu lillah, as-salah al-Ibrahimiyya, then let him seek refuge from four. And he said, the first one, what? قال, اللهم إني أعوذك من عذاب جهنم. I seek refuge in you from the punishment of Jahannam, hellfire. He put Jahannam as to be of the beginning of the four things because it's most evil. So you sought refuge in the first one, Adab Jahannam, because what? It's the first evil. Sorry, the biggest evil, I should say. The biggest evil. Because it is the house or the abode of destructions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ بَدَّلُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ. Can't you see to the ones who had swapped the blessings of Allah, kufra, in disbelief. So Allah gave him blessings and they were not unthankful to Allah. They did not worship Allah. وَأَحَلُّوا. Then they have put in their heart what? بِأَنفُسِهِمُ الْعَذَابِ. And they put the punishment on them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, جَهَنَّمَ يَصْلَوْنَهَا وَبِئْسَ الْقَرَارِ. This is Jahannam, hellfire. And it's going to be the evil, the most evil abode. وَأَحَلُّوا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ دَارَ الْبَوَارِ. Now. And also, Allah He called it the abode of the zalimun, the oppressors. The zalimun who committed kufr in Allah and committed shirk in Allah Azza wa Jal. إِنَّ جَهَنَّمَ كَانَتْ مِرْصَادًا لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا. Surah An-Naba, Allah He said, Inna Jahannam, hellfire, is a plot, mirsada, is waiting for whom? للطاغين, the oppressors, zalim, ma'aba, abode for them. Also, Allah describes this hellfire as having 7 gates. And each gate is got its own portion from the people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَإِنَّ جَهَنَّمَ, verily, Jahannam, لَمَوْعِدُهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. It is their destiny, their abode. All of them, these kuffar. لَهَا سَبْعَةُ أَبْوَابٍ. It's got 7 gates, 7 doors. لِكُلِّ بَابٍ مِّنْهُمْ جُزْءٌ مَقْسُومٌ. For each door, it's got its portion from those people going to enter it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said that when these people, kuffar, enter the hellfire will be closed. Why? To give them no hope. That's it. It can't go out. No hope after that. قال إنها عليهم مؤصدة في عمد ممددة. Soon as they enter it, مؤصدة, it will be locked. في عمد ممددة, it's gonna be a pillar stretched in order they cannot go out from it. That's it. They will be locked, stretched with pillars, locking this gate, no way they can exit. So they will never come out of this fire at all. Allah said, يريدون أن يخرجوا من النار وما هم بخارجين منها ولهم عذاب مقيم. They want to come out of the fire, but they will not be able to do so, and they will have a everlasting punishment. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said about these kuffar and what they say in the hellfire. And that is in Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 106. قالوا ربنا غلبت علينا شقوتنا وكنا قوما ضالين. O Lord, our wretched acts is the one who had been the overwhelming thing that used to do. We used to do wretched acts, bad acts. أعوذ بالله. ربنا أخرجنا منها. Oh Lord, make us to get out of the hellfire. فإن عدنا فإنا ظالمون. If we come back to what we used to do from the kufr and disbelief, then we are the wrongdoers. Allah said, قال اخسأوا فيها ولا تكلمون. Disgrace to you. Don't talk to me. That's it. So it is everlasting punishment, non-stop. لا يفتر عنهم وهم فيه مبلسون. This fire will not go down in fire in punishment. And there they are mublisun. Mublisun means that they are in despair from the mercy of Allah. They are in despair that the fire will open. They are in despair that they will come out of the fire. They are in despair from that the punishment will go down. They are in despair. They've given up. They will be given all sorts of punishment, types of punishment, colors of the punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in Surah Sad, هذا وإن للطاغين لشر مآب جهنم يصلونها فبئس المهاد. Those who are طاغين, which are oppressors, they will have the evil abode, which is in hellfire. And what is a bad mattress for mihad is you sleep on it. هذا فليذوقوه حميم وغساق. Let them taste it. Hamim is hot water to cut their intestines. وغساق is the drink of the pus that comes from the wounds. والعياذ بالله. قال وآخر من شكله أزواج. And the same thing from this as well. They will have it in pairs. Hamim, as we said, boiling water. Ghassaq is the pus drink. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says about their aghlal and their salasil. Allah قال إذ الأغلال في أعناقهم. Behold, when the aghlal is, by the way, the cuffs of the hands. And not just being cuffed their hands, there are cuffs with their what? In their necks. So this is not like behind when the police, they do this. No. It's in their necks, in their heads. قال, also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, والسلاسل قال والسلاسل يسحبون في الحميم ثم في النار يسجرون. And also the salasal is the ties of the what? Of the feet. And yushabun, they will be dragged into the hellfire. قال في الحميم, في the hellfire. ثم في النار يسجرون, and then in the fire they will be toasted. As for the food, zaqum, ghislin, bari'. So zaqum is a tree there. If one drop from the zaqum comes to the dunya, the Prophet ﷺ said it will spoil the whole dunya. Just one drop. So imagine this is the food of theirs. Okay? This is the food of theirs. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna shajarat al-zaqum ta'amul athim. Verily, the tree of zaqum is the food of the athim, the disbeliever, the one who does sins all the time. Kalmuhli yaghli fil butun. And it's like the boiling water, boiling in the belly. Kaghali al-hamim, like the boiling hot springs. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in Surah Al-Haqqa, فَلَيْسَ لَهُ الْيَوْمَ هَاهُنَا حَمِيم. There's no friend for him. No hamim, no friend, close friend. وَلَا طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِنْ غِسْلِينَ وَلَا طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِنْ غِسْلِينَ. And their food is to be from ghislin. Ghislin again is from the pus. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ لَا يَأْكُلُهُ إِلَّا الْخَاطِئُونَ. Those are the ones who are sinners. Those on the hellfire that will be eating it. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Al-Ghashiyah, وُجُوهُ يَوْمَئِذٍ خَاشِعَةٌ عَامِلَةٌ نَاصِبَةٌ تَصْلَى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع. ضريع, thorny pricking tree, and it's got poison. So this is the food. Okay, so this food, it will never give them full, make them full, because the food, what you eat it for? To make you full. And you food eat as well to make your bony a bit chubby. That's the food for. This food, it will not make you chubby, nor it will give you, stop the hunger and the pain of the hunger. No. You will eat punishment. So you will get no satisfaction, because you will never get satisfaction from that. And also it will not give you the health. And from the drink that they will get, the boiling water and al-ghassaq, which is the pus. وَيَسْتَغِيثُ يُغَاثُ بِمَاءٍ يَشْوِي الْوُجُوهِ. صح? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I think the verse was read here, wasn't it? Wasn't it? It was read Surah Al-Kahf today, isn't it? I came the second rak'ah. Sorry. نعم. بئس الشراب وساءت مرتفقة. بئس الشراب, woe to the drink. يغاث بماء. They will give, if they want to seek health in the hellfire, they'll give them boiling water. What the boiling water does, it goes into the stomach. You know, when the person drinks very hot thing, where does he get the pain? Only in the tongue, in the inside of the mouth, in the throat, and then after that you don't feel anything. If it goes in the belly is senseless, no sense in it. So Allah is saying, no, it will not settle in the belly. It will what? قال فتقطعت أمعاؤهم. It will فقطع أمعاؤهم. It will penetrate, cut off their stomach. Then you'll feel the pain. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, كلما نضجت جلودهم بدلناهم جلودا غيرها ليذوقوا العذاب. Every time that their skin is burnt, then we will give them another skin. Why? Because if your skin is burnt, you don't feel any pain. The skin is the sense, the center of the sense. So when the skin is gone, you don't feel any pain. But Allah says, no, we will give you another skin. Why? In order to taste the punishment. This is miracles of the Quran. This is medical miracles. It's been recently discovered that the sense is in the skin. Once the skin is gone, then there will be no pain. As for the, as well, Allah وَسُقُوا مَاءً حَمِيمًا فَقَطَّعَ أَمْعَاءَهُم. From the clothes from the fire, clothes from tar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا قُطِّعَتْ لَهُمْ ثِيَابٌ مِّن نَارٍ. For those disbelievers, they have been given clothes from the fire. Also Allah He said in Surah Ibrahim, وَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ يَوْمَئِذٍ مُقَرَّنِينَ فِي الْأَصْفَادِ. You will see the criminals, they are locked up in chains. And then سَرَابِيلُهُمْ مِنْ قَطِرَانٍ. سَرَابِيلُهُمْ, their clothes, their sirwals and all of that, from tar, burning tar. As from the salasil wal quyud, we said the cuffing there, Allah said, إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَلَاسِلَ وَأَغْلَالًا وَسَعِيرًا. Surah Al-Insan. We have prepared for the kuffar salasil, for the feet, aghlal for the hands, وَسَعِيرًا, hellfire. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ, out of his sympathy, out of his love and mercy to this ummah, he commanded us to seek refuge from the hellfire. Just say, Allahumma inni astajiru bika minan nar. If you said that 3 times every day, 3 times, just 3 times, then the hellfire itself, it will ask our Lord, O Lord, he had sought refuge in you from me, give him refuge. So the fire will say to our Lord, he been seeking refuge from me every day, 3 times. Okay, 3 times, seek refuge in Allah from the fire, 3 times every day. Allahumma inni astajiru bika minan nar. Just to remember those things. Then the fire itself will intercede for you. On the day of resurrection, it will say that this man, I don't want to burn him because he's been seeking refuge in you from me. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had given us this dua. So in order, because he is the most merciful to our ummah. And Allah Azza wa Jal, he had praised the slaves of his which are believers if they make or seek refuge in him from the punishment of the hellfire. So Allah Jal, he said, وَالَّذِينَ يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. The ones who always, when they sleep in prostration and as well standing up for the prayer. وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اصْرِفْ عَنَّا عَذَابَ جَهَنَّمَ. And the ones who say, O Lord, take away from us the hellfire, the punishment of the fire. إِنَّ عَذَابَهَا كَانَ غَرَامًا. Verily, the punishment of it is a regretful thing. It is going to be very punishable. إِنَّهَا سَاءَتْ مُسْتَقَرًّا وَمُقَامًا. Verily, it's an evil place to stay in, bad place to stay in. So those are the ones who are seeking refuge day and night. They're praying to Allah and saying, رَبَّنَا اصْرِفْ عَنَّا عَذَابَ جَهَنَّمَ. Oh Lord, don't make us to be from the people of the hellfire. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also, he had said about the dialogue and the talk that takes place between the people of paradise. And they were asking each other, what was the reason for us to enter paradise? And it was the response of some of them, that is because we've been seeking refuge in Allah from this hellfire. One of the reasons to enter paradise, because we've been seeking refuge in Allah from the hellfire. Allah really said, وَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. Surah And the people of paradise, they started coming to ask each other, قالوا إنا كنا قبل في أهلنا. That mushfiqeen, we were in amongst our families. Mushfiqeen means we are in fear of the hellfire. Mushfiqeen, we are in seeking refuge of Allah from the hellfire. Mushfiqeen, in fear from this hellfire. قال فمن الله علينا ووقانا عذاب السموم. Allah had given us, alhamdulillah, the prize by saving us from the punishment of the hellfire. Inna kunna min qablu nad'uhu. Verily, before we used to call upon him, innahu huwa al-barru rahim. He is the bar and al-rahim, the one who will fulfill his promise, and he is the oft merciful. Second commandment from this hadith, قال, that is to seek refuge from the punishment of what? The grave. Please focus. Punishment, the grave. The punishment of the grave is to be true. And we have text from the Quran and the Sunnah, and it is the Ahlul Sunnah's consensus. If any person says to you, there's no punishment of the grave, the first thing you should do, close whatever you're listening to, whether it is at YouTube or something, don't listen to this person. This is the person who is deviant. And the answer you should give to such a person, you don't want to dialogue with him. he will say like what Ishaq ibn Rahawayh he said when somebody told him that somebody's denying the punishment of the grave. He said, well, one day he's going to die and then he will taste it. Then we will see if it's true or not. One day he's going to die, we'll see if he's going to taste it or not. Just leave it like this. You don't want to get into sort of mushkila with him and problem of discussions and then fighting. There's nothing like this. It's argumentation. طيب. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said about the people of Nuh. قال مما خطيئاتهم أغرقوا نارا فأدخلوا أو مما خطيئاتهم, that is أغرقوا فأدخلوا نارا. Because of their sins, they were being to be drowned in the deluge, the flood, and then they're being sent to what? The fire. The fire, hey, which fire? قال فأدخلوا نارا. Straight away, because the fire is a something. So when they were drowned, they entered the fire. Which fire is this? The fire of the barzakh or the fire of the hereafter? The barzakh. Do you understand me? As soon as they were drowned, they were sent to the fire. So this is to tell us that there is a punishment in the grave. So we have three abodes or three places for the person. First of all, the dunya, then darul barzakh, then darul akhirah, the abode of the akhirah. Darul akhirah, you will not enter it except after resurrection. Do you understand that? After you will be resurrected, you will enter the abode of the akhirah. So you will come from this dunya to where? To the barzakh. So Allah, he said, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتِ, when death comes to one of them, قَالَ رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ, say, oh Lord, send me back. لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِيمَا تَرَكْ كَلَّا إِنَّهَا كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا وَمِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. Allah Azza said that then they will go to the hereafter. So when it says فَأُدْخِلُوا نَارًا, that means the nar of the barzakh, punishment of the grave. Also Allah he said about Fir'aun and his people, قال وحاق بآل فرعون سوء العذاب. سوء العذاب here the punishment of what? Of the fire. And it surrounded the people of Fir'aun. And nar, fire. What? يعرضون عليها غدوا وعشيا. That is the fire, they are exposed to it day and night. Which fire? Barzakh or the hereafter? Do you know why it's barzakh? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says after that, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةِ. After that, when the hour takes place, then this is the hereafter is going to start. أَدْخِلُوا آلَ فِرْعَوْنَ أَشَدَّ الْعَذَابِ. Now you make Al-Fir'aun to go into the even stronger punishment, more severe punishment. So the first punishment, when Allah وَحَاقَ بِآلِ فِرْعَوْنَ سُوءُ الْعَذَابِ يُعْرَضُونَ النَّارِ يُعْرَضُونَ عَلَيْهَا غُدُوًّا وَعَشِيًّا. This nar fire is the fire of the grave, the punishment of the grave. Then after the sa'ah, the hour takes place, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will start the hereafter. So the hereafter now, Allah said, قال أدخلوا آل فرعون. Now you put the followers of Fir'aun in a more punishable fire. Not just like the fire of the barzakh, أشد العذاب. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, فَذَرْهُمْ حَتَّى يُلَاقُوا يَوْمَهُمْ الَّذِي فِيهِ يُصْعَقُونَ. Let them just be in their life busy until they find the day when they're going to be soon away, which is the day of resurrection. يَوْمَ لَا يُغْنِي عَنْهُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ شَيْئًا وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. That is, their plot will not benefit them. They plot whatever they like to plot, and they will not be given help. وَإِنَّ لِلَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا عَذَابًا دُونَ ذَلِكَ. And verily, for the ones who wronged, they will have a punishment less than that. Which is the punishment? The punishment of what? Of the barzakh. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And but most of them, they don't know not. So here, the less punishment is the punishment of the grave. Also Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذِ الظَّالِمُونَ فِي غَمَرَاتِ الْمَوْتِ. And behold, when you see the wrongdoers, the kuffar, the ظالمون, the mushrikun, in their death stupors, the death pangs, وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ بَاسِطُوا أَيْدِيهِمْ, and the angels are stretching their hands, أَخْرِجُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ الْيَوْمَ تُجْزَوْنَ عَذَابَ الْهُونِ. Get their souls out, come out to the hellfire. This is when you're going to be recompensed with a punishment. قال بما كنتم تقولون على الله غير الحق وكنتم عن آياته تستكبرون. So when they say اليوم, today, that is the day, the punishment of the dunya, after the dunya, the punishment of the barzakh. And on the day of resurrection, they will see more adhab. So, in the Quran, number of verses to establish the punishment of the grave. As for the Sunnah, it is mutawatir. It's beyond count. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that I've asked the Prophet ﷺ about the punishment of the grave. He said, Na'am. Sahih al-Bukhari, by the way. Yes, adhab al-qabri haqq. The punishment of the grave is true. Khalas, authentic. And also, Anas radiallahu anhu, he said to the Prophet of Allah sallallahu he said, لَوْلَا أَن تَدَافَنُوا, had it been that you will not bury one another, لَدَعَوْتُ اللَّهَ أَن يُسْمِعَكُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ. I would have called upon Allah that He will make you able to hear some of the punishment that goes on into the grave. But if you hear about that punishment, if you'll be able to listen to it, you will not bury one another. Because you don't want to be there. You don't want to be seeing that punishment. He will say to you, put me in the fridge, burn me, whatever. So that's what the Prophet said. This is Sahih Imam Muslim. Also on the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas. Prophet of Allah, he passed by two graves. But this is Sahih Bukhari Muslim. By two graves. And he said, these two graves are being to be punished. And they're not being punished for something which people consider to be major. One of them is what? Making namim. And the other one is what? Does not clean himself after urination. Does not make istinja. So this is a punishment of the grave. So they're being punished before the hereafter. And Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu, Zayd ibn Thabit, companion, said, when the Prophet ﷺ, he was in the orchard of Bani Najjar, and he was upon a mule, and the mule almost kicked the Prophet ﷺ, almost made him to drop. And actually it was 6 or 5 graves. Prophet ﷺ asked, who knows who are the ones inside these graves? And man, he said, me. How did they die? He said, they said, Messenger of Allah, they died upon shirk, kufr. He said, verily, Prophet ﷺ, Inna hadihi al-umma latubtala. This ummah will have trials in their graves. Had it been that you're not going to bury one another, I would have called upon Allah to make you able to hear to some of the punishment that goes on into the grave. Then he pointed his face onto us. Ta'awwadhu billahi min adhab al-qabr. Seek refuge in Allah from the punishment of the grave. They said, Na'udhu billahi min adhab al-qabr. We seek refuge from the punishment of the grave. That's in Sahih al-Imam Muslim. طيب. The punishment in the grave goes into two things, which is the soul and the body. Yes, when you die, the soul goes different from the body, separated. When you die, separated. So your soul, if it's in delight, it will go to paradise. And if it's in hellfire, it will go to the fire. As for your body, it's going to be inside the grave, but you will experience the same pain as well. So just like your soul is punished, your body will be punished. Just like your soul is being prospered and delight, your body, if you are a good person, will be prospered in delight. You will have your mattress from Jannah. You will have a window to look at your seat from your grave in Jannah. Then in your grave, you'll have light. You'll have everything. Whereas in the other one, it will be tight, not a mansion. It will be, even your bones will be dislocated. And it will be as well punishable. It will be mattress from hell. You'll have a window saying to you that this is your place in hellfire. So you know your place in hellfire. Imagine, you know you're going to be this. And it's still punished as well. And your soul as well is punished. So we believe that the punishment is on both the body and the soul. Type. Now, if this person, okay, had been punished in the grave, then he will not be punished if he's a Muslim believer. He will not be punished for what he has done in the hereafter. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's a good thing. So let's see, if he's been punished in the grave, that will be sufficient. And you don't have to be punished in the hereafter. Okay, so alhamdulillah, this is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, you need to know as well that you will get the punishment or the delight in the grave regardless of the way that you've been buried. Whether you've been buried or not, whether you've been eaten by a beast, or you've been, for example, burnt into ashes for a plane falling down, or you've been drowned in the sea, okay, the punishment will take place on the soul and on the body, whether you've been cremated or not. Allah Azza wa Jal, He has the capability of that. We don't doubt this. And also you need to know that the punishment or the fire of the grave is not like the fire of this dunya. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has the power to make this grave of this person hotter than the fire that we've got, yet we don't feel the heat of the stones. We don't feel the heat of the land. So don't you ever think that if you go to the land of the disbelievers, or a believer is being punished, if you put your hand on the grave, you say, fire there. That's not correct. And that gives me the answer as well. Somebody asked me that day, and I told him the answer, that is a person I think it was in Aylesbury, I think, St. Albans. He asked me, is that if the person is to be buried and he's a believer in the land or in the graveyard of disbelievers, that if this disbeliever is going to be punished by fire and everything, that this believer, because next to him, is going to feel the heat. That's the question was for me. There's no such thing, akhi. There's no such thing. But the believer should not be buried into the land, or the believer should not be buried in the cemetery of the disbelievers. There has to be separation. But as in that the heat will go and conduct heat, to the other grave, and that this is beyond our capability of knowing. This punishment of the grave is continuous for the disbelievers. As for the believers, it's according to their sins. Do you understand me? So if you're a believer, you made a major sin or something, then if you get the punishment, it's not going to be everlasting. It's going to be for a certain period until Allah Azza wa Jalla wills for you to have the delight of the grave, because you're a believer. Okay? So you will have the punishment accordingly. But as for the disbeliever, it's continuous adab. النار يعرضون عليها غدوا وعشيا. People of Fir'aun, they're having the fire exposed to it day and night. ويوم تقوم الساعة. And then when the day of resurrection takes place, Allah would say, أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. Make the people of Fir'aun to have the severe punishment. Prophet ﷺ, he said regarding the kafir, that when he is in his grave, Allah will command for a door to be open for him that would lead to his place in the hellfire. As for the believers who are sinners, for if they are to be punished in the grave, then they will not be punished in the hereafter. The third commandment. And we seek refuge from the what? The trials of the life and the trials of the death. What is that? Trials of the life. What is meant by the trials of the life? Whatever trials that you face in your life, these are the trials of the life before your death. And the trials means the test that take place to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. Alif Lam Mim, that the people think they're going to be saying, I believe, I'm a believer, without being tested. We have been testing the ones before them, and Allah will know those who are truthful and the ones who are liars. So you will not be thrown in the fire based upon the knowledge of Allah. No. You will be doing something that when you go to the fire, you will acknowledge that Allah did not wrong you. You will know that actually it's out of your hands. What your hands had earned, that's why you have been punished. So Allah will not throw you in the fire based upon His knowledge. Okay? It's based upon what you have done. This is the justice. قال وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. And we test you with the good and the evil. Test you with the evil and the good, as to be a trial, a test. Surah Al-Anbiya. So if the common sense person, the person who's got intellect, the person who's he's got common sense, if he's been trialed with the evil and he had some sort of things in his life which has made him to go down, this should be a sign for him to what? To repent to Allah. So if you've got common sense, you repent to Allah. You seek forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jal. And you will know that it is from you. This is because of your hands have earned. And you will be patient and you will hope for the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. And if he's to be tried with the good, then he will know that this is belonging to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he will express his gratitude to Allah. And if it is somebody had done this good to him, he will acknowledge that as well. So he will all the time see the blessings of Allah is upon him to be great. That's why Sulaiman alayhi salam, when he had seen the throne of Balqis before him is being brought to him. The throne of Balqis is a lot of things to hold it. But it's been brought, in front of him. This is from Yemen to Bilad Sham. It's a big distance. It needs about two loads of clay now at the moment. It's been brought to him in less than a blink of an eye. What did he do? He thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ فَضْلِ رَبِّي. This is, he said, from the blessings of my Lord, لِيَبْلُوَنِي أَأَشْكُرُ أَمْ أَكْفُرُ. In order Allah to test me. Am I going to be grateful? Am I going to be expressing my gratitude? Or I'm going to be denying? وَمَنْ شَكَرْ. He thanks, فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. He will be thanking for the benefit of himself. وَمَنْ كَفَرْ. He who denies the favors of Allah, فَإِنَّ رَبِّي غَنِيٌّ كَرِيمٌ. Allah is the self-sufficient, the most generous. As for the fitna of the death, which is the fitna that you're going to be exposed to just before you die, or just after your death. So it's linked to the death. So the moment of the death, when you're about to die, is a very hard moment. It's a moment that people will be tested. Are you going to be holding yourself upon the deen, or you're going to be, a'udhu billah, leaving the deen? Allah He said, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ as well. Allah He will give the قول الثابت means the firm saying لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله الله ربي والإسلام ديني ونبي محمد والقرآن كتابي. Allah will give you that saying and will say it with full confidence, and also give you that as well in the akhirah. ويضل الله الظالمين ويفعل الله ما يشاء. Allah will do whatever He wills. So when the angels Munkar and Nakir will make you to stand up in the grave, to sit, sorry I should say, and they will ask you, who is your Lord, and who is your prophet, and what is your book, and what is your deen, then you'll have confidence. And this is the hadith al-Bara. The Prophet ﷺ, he talked about the journey of the believer and the journey of the disbeliever. And these two angels are azraqani, aswadani, black, blue, mighty, terrorizing you, getting you up. If you are a believer, straight away when they stand you up and ask you, say, well, I'm about to lose the prayer. The sun is setting, I'm going to pray. Oh, no, you will let me to pray. No, I'm going to pray. You have confidence to say, I'm going to be praying. They have to wait for you and you pray. Because every time you are to be asked, it's going to be the sun is about to set. And you don't want the sun to set until you offer your prayer. So you pray with confidence. So imagine, you've got your prayer before, and you know they're going to be questioning you. So when you ask you, straight away say, Allah, my Lord. Then ask you, what's your religion? Islam. Who's your prophet? Muhammad. What's your book? Quran. What's your deed? I have read in the Quran, and I believed in it, and I acted upon it. Tayyib, mashallah. So they know, they said, we know that you've been saying this. We know that you've been doing this. You see your life, we know this. Okay? So this is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is when the Prophet said, Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. Allah Azza will give you this qawl al-thabit. Allahumma arzuqna al-qawl al-thabit ya Rabbal Alameen. طيب. So that's why from the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, this is in Sunan Ibn Majah, which is to be authentic, وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ أَنْ يَتَخَبَّطَنِ الشَّيْطَانِ عِنْدَ الْمَوْتِ. I seek refuge in you, Lord, that the shaitan comes to me just before when I die. When I want the moment to die, shaitan will come to you and say, die as a Christian, die as a Jew, die as a non-Muslim. He will come to you that moment because he's eager to destroy all the acts that you've been doing, all the ibadah you've been doing, just in that moment. Imagine. And then you hang on to something which is kufr and you die upon it. So he dies, La ilaha illallah, nafa'atu yawma min ad-dahr. It will benefit him one day of his life. The fourth and the last one, which is the fourth recommendation or commandment, is called, and to seek refuge from the fitna, the trials of the what? The Masih ad-Dajjal. Masih ad-Dajjal. A young, red, white, big man, and his head is like a snake. Asalak. Or like, the tree branches. The tree branches. That's a description of the Prophet ﷺ. And his hair is scattered and also standing up, and he's got one eye popping out, one eye is inside, it's like leveled, and both of them they can't see. The left one completely can't see. The right one can see little. It's like a grape popping out. A'udhu billah. You imagine these things when you see this thing. What type of person? This person claims to be Allah. Then that's why there is no fitna matching the fitna of the grave, just like the fitna of the what? The Dajjal. So after the grave, Allah said, seek refuge in the Dajjal. Fitna of the Dajjal. Because it's close. Because there's a person claims, I'm God, I'm Allah, worship me. And Allah gives him the power to do things that only Allah can do. Ask the rain to come, rain, come, they will come. Ask the land to bring water, come. Ask the land to be no crops if you don't believe in Him. Bring crops for the one believe, bring crops. It's a fitna. And He will give your father and your mother two shaitans to resemble them even they are dead, to come to you and say, worship this man. He's your Lord. But the person who's got common sense, my Lord is to be beautiful. And if this person is ugly, he can't even have the power to fix himself. He's got the power of everything, but he can't have a power to go to the doctor, please make me a surgery, beautify myself, and level my eye, and give me two eyes here. He can't. Allah gave him this to be a mark. Not only that, there's a word kafara between his two eyes here. The word, he is a disbeliever. Only the believer will read it. Whether you are Chinese, you don't know Arabic, you'll read it. You will read it. Kafara. It's a kafir. With this sign, so he's got one eye. So he's got blind in the two eyes with one eye. So Allah Azza wa Jalla has got beautiful two eyes. So how can you say that he's Lord? How can you? Unless you have been blind. Unless you are a person, a'udhu billah, from the inside you are no good. This Dajjal is called, he comes from the areas called Asbahan or Khurasan. 70,000 from the Jews will follow him. They are still waiting for him, by the way, until today. And the land will come for him fast. It will fold. Even when the Prophet asked about his speed, he said, it's like the wind, is pushing him. When there was a wind, how fast is the wind? Have wind gale force, for example, 120 miles and all of that. It's like the wind, very quick. And this Dajjal will stay for 40 days. But those days are not our days. Is it a big period? It's not. 40 days is not a big deal. One day is like 1 year. One day is like a month. And one day is like a week. And the rest, the 37 day, they are like our days, 24 hours. Do you understand that? It's not a lot. Yet in these lots of people disbelieve. In that little period, there are lots of people. So when they ask the Prophet of Allah, in that day which is as long as 1 year, do we pray like the normal 5 daily prayers? He said, no. اقدروا له قدرا. That means you measure between Fajr and Fajr 24 hours. So in every 24 hours in that day, you make what? 5 daily prayers. So how much are you going to be making daily prayers? 1 year of prayer. Not one daily prayer. In that one, that day which is as long as a year. فَقْدُرُوا له قدرا. This is an answer for those people who live in where? North Pole, South Pole, 6 months day, 6 month night. Okay, we don't say 6 month day, brother. You go out there, you pray 5 daily prayers. No, he has to pray the daily prayers of 6 months. Even the sun is still there, but it doesn't set. But we have to make estimation, like at the time of the Dajjal. So a day like a year, a day like a month, a day like a week, and the rest is like the normal days. So this Dajjal is being called Al-Masih. Masih. It's not the Messiah. Al-Masih means like ممسوح عينه. His eyes be level. ممسوحة. Level. So the left one is nothing. Blocked and nothing. And the right one is popping out and it's got a big, massive meat. You might find in some of the hadith the other way around. But I'm telling you which one is the most authentic to it or correct. But we don't really mind if some said it is the left which is popping out and the right is the one which is level. It's called Mamsuh al-Ayn. And that's why it's called Al-Masih. As for calling him Al-Masih, Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in Fath al-Bari, he says this is tasheef, not right. Al-Ha and the Kha is a dot. So it's Masih. It's just put a dot when the Ha becomes Al-Masih. So the correct name is for him is Al-Masih. And when we say Al-Masih, whom do we mean? Isa alayhi salam. So if it's the Dajjal, we say Al-Masih al-Dajjal. You can't say about the Masih Dajjal Al-Masih. Al-Masih is Isa ibn Maryam. And Dajjal, because he is the law, and the Dajjal means to cover the haqq with batil. And this Dajjal, as it says, fitna is so much that his fire is paradise. And his paradise is what? Fire. So if you have to be tested and you have to face him, somehow it is there, and he said to you, enter my Jannah, don't. Enter what? His fire. What are you going to do now? Prophet ﷺ said, close your eyes, put your head down, push yourself. Because it's going to be, it's fire. It's going to push you up. Just close your eyes, put your head down, and throw yourself. And if you threw yourself in there, it is paradise. But it looks like the fire because he made it look. He is like a sorcerer. Fire looks paradise and the paradise looks fire. He's the biggest one. Now there was a person who is the one who is the greatest martyr in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla. This person, he comes out, basically this person, Dajjal, he's allowed to go everywhere except for where? Mecca, Medina, inside Masjid al-Aqsa and inside Masjid al-Tur. Those 4 places are not allowed. But the whole of Mecca is not allowed. How can he be a god? If he's prevented, you're not allowed. You're a god, but you're not prevented to come to this land. He can't be a god. But these people still believe he's a god because of their weak of their iman. So this Dajjal cannot enter Mecca and Medina. This boy will come out of Medina and he will find the soldiers of the Dajjal waiting outside. Why can't enter Mecca and Medina? There's an angel in each mountain holding his sword. From that moment until now, until the day when he comes out, they will not let him to approach Mecca and Medina. But he will be waiting outside. So what about the hypocrite who stays in the Medina? The Medina will shake itself 3 times. Okay? This is the day of purification. All the hypocrites come out of it. You can't have shelter inside. You will be the followers of the Dajjal. You can't be staying as shelter in Medina and Mecca. So it will ثلاث رجفات, like 3 earthquakes. And also this man, when he comes out, will be met by the soldiers of the Dajjal, and he will go out and he will say, I'm just going to this guy who's calling himself God. He said, aren't you believer that he's our God? No. So one of them wants to kill him. He said, no, that one, don't kill him. Didn't you remember our God said, don't kill anyone except you bring him to me. So they bring him cuffed. And the people who are believers in the Dajjal, this person makes da'wah to them. This is the man whom the Prophet of Allah warned us against. Now do you know? He said, well, where is your proof? He is the Dajjal. He will not be able to give life except for one person, which is me. He knows. So the Dajjal will say to the people, if I cut him in 2 halves and I walk between the halves and bring him back, would you believe me or not? So what he did, he cuts him in half. And he walks between the 2 halves and he commands the 2 halves to come. This is real. And he will become human back again. So he will ask him, aren't you now a believer that I'm a God? He said, no, I am more certain that you are the Dajjal. Now I am more certain because you are fulfilling everything that I know about the Dajjal. I'm more certain. Instead to become basira, I know I'm 100% you are the Dajjal. That's why he's trying to kill him. So Allah will put like a copper between his neck and his chest. He can't go on slaughtering in front of the people. He can't. So he tried to kill him, he can't. So what he does, they will throw him, his soldiers, into what looks like the fire, but it's actually what? Paradise. This is where he dies, and this is the biggest martyr in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, the Dajjal will be, as I said, followed by the 70,000 from the Jews, and there will be a great fight. The angels who are in the Medina and Mecca, they will push the Dajjal towards what? Bayt al-Maqdis, to Masjid al-Aqsa. Push him there. He will go there. And this is where Isa alayhi salam at that time will land, and he's the one who's going to kill him. Isa alayhi salam, he will land in Manar al-Bayda in Dimashq, the white minaret, and is the one who's going to kill him. After the prayer of the Fajr in Masjid al-Aqsa, the door will be opened, the Dajjal will be there, he will dissolve, but he will follow him until Babul Lud, and he will give him the knockout, last one, still, I've got to kill you, and then he will die. Now as for the ones who are with him, then the believers will fight them, and those ones with him, even the stones hate them, even the trees hate them, except for one tree, Shajarul Gharqad. This is the one they hide behind it. Those people, they believe in Shajarul Gharqad more than, unfortunately, some of the Muslims believe about this story. And they are planting Shajarul Gharqad in their land, preparing for that moment. Subhanallah. The Shajarul Gharqad, you don't find it more than you find it in their land. So then there will be that one of them will be hiding behind the stone, and the stone will speak out, Ya Abdullah, O slave of Allah, there is somebody behind me. Come and get him. Come and get him. And you know the rest of the story. You want me to see me next week, don't you? We don't want to say more than that. طيب. خير إن شاء الله. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى لي ولكم الثبات على دينه وأسأله أن يثبتنا بالقول الثابت. If you have any questions, we gonna have 5 minutes of questions, please. I have to leave before road work start. تفضل. Is the dua of this obligatory in the tashahhud? In the middle one, no, it is not. It's recommended. In the second one, which is the last one. So if it's one, the prayer is one tashahhud, it's in the last tashahhud, it's compulsory. قال فإذا انتهى أحدكم تشهد قال فليدعو فليستعذ إذا تشهد أحدكم فليستعذ. It's a command. So the middle tashahhud, if you've got the prayer, got two tashahuds, middle one is recommended. But in the last tashahhud, if it's one tashahhud, last tashahhud, then you have to make this dua. Now, تفضل.
So, when I learned it, I learned it cover first, and then the Jahannam second. Do I have to learn it? So it's Jahannam first.
There is a narration which makes the qabr before the Jahannam. But the most authentic is better, Jahannam and then the qabr. طيب, تفضل.
Sheikh, there was a lady who died on Umrah. She's from here, but they buried her.
There's a lady who died in Umrah.
She went to Umrah, she died in Mecca. They buried her in Ladakhi. But as someone stated, she'll be raised with companions. Is that
She'll be raised with the companions.
because she died in Mecca?
No, there is no such thing that she'll be raised with the companions. If she died in the land of Medina, Prophet ﷺ said, من استطاع منكم أن يموت في المدينة فليفعل. If he's capable to die in the Medina, then let him do so. Meaning, to increase in visiting the Medina in order to die in the Medina. It doesn't mean go to the Medina and kill yourself. Now,
In regards to the 1 year, which is on the
one day which is equivalent to 1 year.
is it based on the sun rising on why is the
No, there's no, the sun will be rising all the way for the 1 year. 1 day is 1 year. There's no night. Do you understand? Yawm. It's not layla. Yawm means day. So daylight for 1 year. It's like we have 6 months day. It's not, for you to understand that is easy now. You have 6 months day. Before the time of the companions, they used to believe, we don't know about this North Pole and South Pole. SubhanAllah. But they believe. طيب, anybody else? تفضل. Marks? The believers, they will be punished in the grave if they are sinners, if Allah wills, yes?
Yes, would they be recognized by other believers on the day of
No. You will be, but the punishment will stop, as I said, for the believers. There will be no marks whatsoever. They will be, okay, because you're going to enter with different bodies, different face when you're going to be hereafter. You're going to be as beautiful as Yusuf alayhi salam. You're going to be different bodies, and you're going to be having a body to expect the sun 1 mile away from you. Your body's not burnt, so it's different. You're not going to have any marks. طيب, يلا يا فيصل. Please, اللهم يا نعم.
Sheikh, entire prayer. When I get up to complete my prayer, do I start with dua istiftah or do I go straight to al-fatiha?
You start as you start in your prayer. So how do you start your prayer? والدعاء الاستفتاح. يلا يا أحمد.
Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykhana. Shaykhana, in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, is Su'a al-Malik, is it like a cup he drinks from?
It's a cup you drinks from, yes? Is this a sister dress or sister cloth? Ask question or Yalla Zohra?
Assalamu alaikum. If you do wudu and then, for example, you missed, for example, washing your face, do you go back and repeat the whole
No, you
wudu
don't.
and-
No, you don't. You complete because the order is not compulsory. It's not a pillar as some of the shuyukh they say. Because the Prophet of Allah in the hadith of Al-Miqdam ibn Ma'di Karib, he had made the wudu, one like he started with his face, and then later on after he washed his hands he went back to his mouth and his nose, so no problem. طيب, يلا إنيش.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam barakatuh.
A person is usually praying sitting because he cannot stand up for the prayer. Does he need to stand up for the opening takbir?
If he's capable of standing for the takbirat al-ihram, but is not capable of what?
Praying the whole prayer standing
So he
up.
gets, he's not obliged to start takbirat al-ihram standing up if he finds difficulty in standing up. He's not obliged. He's not obligated. Okay, because he can't stand up for a bit of time to recite even the Fatiha. Is that what you're talking about? Yes? He can't even recite the Fatiha standing up.
She can, but obviously it is difficult when it comes to ruku and sujood.
Now, if she can, she has to do it.
Okay.
When it comes to ruku and sujood, what? So she's able to stand up, but it's her ruku and sujood what? Her ruku, she could do ruku when she's standing up as well.
She can, but obviously after that gets dizzy.
So we want to know, where does she get difficult? You see, when she sits on the ground, or she sits on the chair, or what?
When she's standing up and then she goes ruku while normal, like we all pray, then she gets dizzy because she has a fainting condition.
When she stands up, she gets a fainting position.
No, but that's only if she goes ruku and sujood. For standing normally.
Sujood, she isn't going to stand up. Sujood is going to sit down. I don't understand what you're saying. You're mixing up ruku'. I say ruku' standing, but sujood is sit down.
No, okay. Jazakallah khair.
جزاك. تفضل.
Does it mean, you know, the Khawarij behind the Dajjal? Does it mean they are kuffar?
No, the Khawarij, they can't say they're kuffar, but the Khawarij is being deceived. The Khawarij is being deceived. The Khawarij, yes, they will come out when the Dajjal comes out. Okay, from his followers, not all the Khawarij, Ikhwani. Okay, not all the Khawarij. Now, تفضل.
The believers who are punished will be called Jahannameen by the other people of Jannah, right?
Jahannamiyun, yes.
Does that mean that the fire they're punished in is the same as the kuffar fire?
The fire that which is going to be is only one fire, Ikhwani. But the fire has two like compartments. One for the people who are kuffar, which is forever, and one which is for the sinners of the believers. It's the same fire, but
Same heat.
the same heat. No, but the heat depends upon. So some of them are going to go to the shallow. So they're going to be punished more than the shallow, not just with the burning cold underneath feet. So it depends upon how what Allah wanted to be punished. So the person who left the prayer, of course, is going to be more punishable than the one who left, for example, his siyam. It's more punishable than the one who has just lied, because the prayer is a big issue. So the fire as well, the heat will be according to the crime itself. Yes, when they come out, the last one who's going to come out from the fire are called the Jahannamiyun. The ones who are the hellfirers, the hellfirers, Jahannamiyun. Now, Allah Ta'ala A'lam. Last question for this. تفضل يا أخي.
I speak on Arabic.
You can speak. تفضل speak. تفضل عربي.
طبعا ما حكم الشخص الذي يصلي وهو جالس وهو قادر على القيام وهو يصلي وهو جالس.
تفهم انجليزي طبعا لما اتكلم الجواب؟
نعم.
اتكلم. طيب. So what is the rule of a person who can't stand up but he prayed sitting down? If the person is praying obligatory, his obligatory is invalid. His obligatory is invalid with the consensus of all scholars. If you are capable of standing up, in the obligatory. As for the voluntary, even if you are capable of standing up, you could pray sitting down. Okay, the voluntary. Voluntary يعني صلاة النافلة. فهمتني؟ صلاة باطلة إذا كنت تستطيع القيام فالقيام ركن بإجماع العلماء ركن. طيب. وسبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاك.